The Rams absolutely need to consider trading for this cornerback. Who is it? That's coming up next on Locked On Rams.
You are Locked On Rams, your daily Los Angeles Rams podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Ramily, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Rams, your daily podcast covering your Los Angeles Rams. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're also available over on YouTube, so if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor. Join the party, trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. We're getting there. We're a couple hundred away. So if you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and hit that like button. Also, if you write us a review on the podcast, I'll read it on the show. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. I've covered LA sports for over a decade, 24/7 sports, Bleacher Report, SI, Dodgers Nation, the LA Sports Report, also do NFL radio for Westwood One. I'm flying solo today. The People's Champ, Mr. Travis Rogers, will be back tomorrow. But we have a jam-packed show. We're going to talk about a trade the Rams could make that could bolster their secondary. Also, we've got Week 4 PFF grades, winners and losers. We'll also look ahead to the 49ers Thursday Night Football TNF Showdown. But first, today's episode of Locked On Rams is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Okay, so we're going to get into the PFF grades, studs and duds, the winners and losers, horns up, horns down, all that fun stuff. But let's talk some trades, because if there's one glaring weakness that the Rams have had through Week 4, it is that they could use an above average cornerback, a cornerback that could be a game changer, that could solidify the secondary with Akella Witherspoon out until Week 12, recovering from that broken clavicle. And you look at the cornerback play from last week. So that's the weakness. That is the weakness. That's the pimple on a model for this Rams defense. Emmanuel Forbes Jr., he has not figured things out. He has struggled pretty mightily to start this year. He allowed a 75-yard catch to A.D. Mitchell, and if A.D. Mitchell doesn't have the bonehead play of the year in the NFL, then it looks even worse for Emmanuel Forbes. So we know that early celebration, put the ball across, it goes as a touchback. So, hey, Forbes, he owes A.D. Mitchell a steak dinner, and also he gave a 2-yard touchdown to Michael Pittman Jr., and then Kobe Durant and Darius Williams, they were better, but the Rams, they're missing Akello badly, and they could use an upgrade at the position, because who knows what this team looks like 12 weeks into the season. I still think even as constructed, there's a good chance that they could still be in first or second place. That would still be a playoff team, but let's not forget that we are looking through the 2025 Rams through the lens of Super Bowl or bust. And that has to be the mindset when you have a 37-year-old quarterback in Matthew Stafford, that there's no guarantee he's going to be back next year, even though that is the plan. But he's still a Super Bowl caliber quarterback in the latter stages of his career. You have a Puka Nacua who's playing like an MVP. He's been the most productive receiver in the NFL. You've got a great front four. The defense has been solid outside of the cornerback spot. The running game with Kyron Williams, a top 10 back. You added Devontae Adams. You don't need me to explain to you why the Rams are all in on the Super Bowl. That's what this organization does. So where would you look to upgrade? Well, that would certainly be at the cornerback position. Now, the next question becomes, what assets do the Rams have? We know that they traded out of the first round last year with the Atlanta Falcons, who they have, for the most part, been a bad team, so that's good for the Rams for next year's draft. But you do have that draft pick because they got into the first round. They took Pierce out of Tennessee. So now the Rams, they have a couple of top picks to work with for next year, but this would not require necessarily a top pick. And the name we're going to talk about is a cornerback that is on a team that the Rams have already played, and of course I'm talking about veteran CB L'Jarius Sneed. So this was proposed by Sports Illustrated, who writes, the Rams might be a cornerback away from becoming real threats to the Eagles and Lions in the NFC. This secondary got exposed by Jalen Hurts in Week 3, and the weapons in Detroit could do the same. Now, Sneed might no longer be as good as he was in Kansas City, but it's worth the hassle for the Rams to find out whether he can regain his top form. Sneed is only 28, and there's a potential on his contract where he could get out of it, and if it doesn't work out in Los Angeles, they can move on. But with better support than what he's had in Tennessee, it wouldn't be shocking to see Sneed have a career year with a team as good as the Rams. So first and foremost, you know what Cam Ward said about the Tennessee Titans. And this is a family show, so we're not going to completely say what he said. But, yeah, he did say that they're not good. Let's just put it like that. And this is a Tennessee Titans team that they're a rebuilding team. They're working at a number 1 pick. They're working in Cam Ward to try to find the future for them. They're not a team that needs a L'Jarius Sneed. They're 0-4. They're in last place in the AFC South. And if you're the Rams, it's early enough in the season to, one, identify those needs, which is clear at this point. And then the question becomes, do you think you can bet on the upside of a L'Jarius Sneed? Well, let's take a look at him. He is a player that he has had, of course, a lot of big moments in his career. I mean, L'Jarius Sneed, in the peak of his powers, he was definitely one of the better cornerbacks in all of the National Football League. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He is not a guy that has been all-pro or anything like that, but he definitely is someone that would be an upgrade for this defense. And I think when you look at where they're at right now, with the depth that they have and the performance of Emmanuel Forbes, this is something to consider, really is. I mean, you look at the way that he's performed, and you could probably get him on the low. So I like the buy low possibility of it all. The fact that the Rams, even with this secondary where the cornerbacks have struggled, they've limited their opponents to 20.3 points per game. That's the 10th best opponents per game in the NFL through 4 games. But we saw against A.J. Brown, Darius Williams getting exposed a little bit against a bigger, taller, stronger receiver. We've seen Emmanuel Forbes get burned in coverage a little bit as well. So it'd be interesting. It really, really would. I mean, you look at his career, and he has 10 interceptions, 43 passes defended, 336 combined tackles in 66 career games. He's given up just 11 receptions for 167 yards in 4 games for the Titans. Also gave up 3 receptions on 8 targets for 61 yards and a score against the Rams. So I'm not saying he would be Deion Sanders or anything, but I think the point of this all is to start the process of identifying which cornerbacks could be traded and which cornerbacks could be a target for the Rams. I'd prefer for the Rams to go bigger, and I think you just need to allow the year to unfold just a little more, but it certainly has to be something they're considering. I think the thing that would really hurt this team is if you look back and you said, wait a second, we had everything, right? We had the mansion, we had the Rolls Royces and the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis, we had the yacht, the private jet, but for some reason we didn't have a functioning toilet, right? I mean, you don't want to have all these great pieces and then not have that one missing piece to your puzzle. And you look at the secondary, they're giving up 114 net passing yards per game. After 4 games, I mean, you're looking at one that really needs to improve. I mean, you really do need to improve where, I mean, that was in the postseason last year, right? In the playoffs last year, they were great. I mean, they were. I mean, that is something that they need to consider. And you look at Emmanuel Forbes. He was the lowest graded player for the Rams. He graded out a 30.1 PFF grade. He gave up 3 catches on 3 targets for 86 yards and a touchdown. It would have been even worse if the A.D. Mitchell touchdown actually was not fumbled away. So, yeah, I mean, Forbes is worth the risk, but right now, I think it is definitely a difficult part for the Rams. Now, let's look at some of the injury news before we get to the break here. We're going to throw out some grades. We're going to throw out some winners and losers. As far as the injury report, we got TNF tomorrow, so buckle up and get ready. We're almost there. The injury report right now, it's a promising one. You get the Rams did not practice Monday after playing a game on Sunday and having just a lighter week heading into Thursday Night Football. They did practice on Tuesday, and the injury report, it was solid. I mean, you saw Steve Avila and Davante Adams. They are not where they were a week ago. There were some concerns last week, and now they're almost at full strength in week 5, so nothing lingering for Davante Adams, and Steve Avila getting back in the mix is going to be huge. And then you've got one change to the Rams injury report, and that is that Cam Kinchens went from limited to full. Tyler Higbee and Rob Havenstein, they were non-participants. We don't know yet if they're going to be ready for Thursday, but Sean McVay, he has not said that there's a chance they're going to miss. Rob Havenstein, he definitely struggled a little bit against Latu. Are we seeing the decline of Rob Havenstein? I think it's possible, of course, because he had a pretty solid peak, and he's someone that has more yesterdays than tomorrows in his career. This is a guy that was a St. Louis Ram at one point. Throughout his career, he has had his issues with talented edge rushers, so I'm not going to make too much out of that, but he probably is not at 100% either. And as far as Tyler Higbee, you expect him to play too. We know that they've got something out of him, out of Davis Allen, but I'm still frustrated that we have not seen Terrence Ferguson. And if it is because of an injury that he gets more playing time and it accelerates the process, look, don't tell me you're going to take him at 26 as a first-round pick, and then now we're 4 weeks into the season, you still haven't used him yet. Yes, he had a groin injury. Yes, the tight end position is harder to learn in Sean McVay's offense, but had you have taken him at 26, it would have been obligated for him to play at this point. So I think that's the missing piece of this offense is having a dynamic tight end, because now you've got an outside guy, a true outside guy, Davante Adams. Puka Nacua is an MVP candidate. Let's just leave it at that. Tutu Atwell shows what he can do. A lot of people saying, oh, the defender fell on that route that led to the 88-yard game-winning touchdown for Tutu. No, Tutu broke him. And my favorite thing about Tutu is the real speedsters, the lightning-quick guys, they are coasting. And my man looked like he was jogging around the park, and my man was just running away, Usain Bolt status, Secretariat status, away from his defender. That's how fast he is. Too fast, too furious. So that's what the injury report is right now. Rams need to trade for a cornerback. And coming up next, we got PFF grades from week 4, and then we're looking ahead to the 49ers-Rams. And a reminder that today's episode of Locked On Rams is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else. From footwork to breathe work, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings the same intention to how we craft every model. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but. From smooth handling to intuitive controls, with all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like our players, we sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. And we are off and running here on Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to give a shout out to those everyday listeners out there watching and listening to every single episode of Locked On Rams. Cannot thank you enough. Really appreciate it. If you're new to the show, do me a huge favor. Join that Everyday Listeners Club. Then you'll be the most informed Rams fan. You'll tune in the #1 daily Rams podcast, and we will go on this journey of Rams football to another Super Bowl together. All right, here in our second segment, we got some winners and losers from week 4 against the Colts. Let's do some PFF grades. Who graded out the highest? Well, it's easy to see. Top 5 on offense. Puka Nacua, 92.6. Davis Allen, the tight end, 84.6. Matthew Stafford, 82.2. Colby Parkinson, 79.5. Justin Dedich, 74.1. So the tight end play has been a little maligned. And yes, you haven't had these big Brock Bowers and these elite tight end type numbers, but still, that's impressive. I mean, the blocking was good. You've seen them just take advantage of their opportunities when they've stepped up. But I definitely think that you want more than blocking, and you want a little more receiving. So it was good to see that they did perform in the roles they were asked to perform in, but I'm still not overly through the moon with the tight end play this year. Puka Nacua, I threw it out there in the squad show with Michael Brockers and my man Gavin Carlson. Puka Nacua is not in the conversation for best receiver in the league. He's in the conversation for the MVP. Like, there's no doubt about it. He's been the best receiver in the league. And it hasn't even been Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. They're having some quarterback issues. Their team's not great. Really, it's been Puka Nacua and Jackson Smith and Jigba who've been the most productive receivers in the NFL. I mean, there's quarterbacks you can talk about, Josh Allen, those types, but I mean, as far as impact through 4 weeks, Puka Nacua has been that man. He's absolutely leveled up. He caught 13 of 15 targets for 170 yards, had the game-tying touchdown. He's already passed 500 yards receiving in 4 games, and that's with another 50 yards as a runner on the ground. So you just look at the production he's had. He's been absolutely fantastic in this season where they need him. And then also another winner, I got to give it to Atwell. I mean, hey, where's Tutu Atwell? Where's Tutu Atwell? That's what everyone always asks, right? I'll tell you where Tutu Atwell is. He's in the end zone celebrating an 88-yard touchdown. And I saw after, him and Sean McVay, little hug there. I think that Tutu saying, hey, I can do this. Put some trust in me. He entered week 4 with just 1 catch for 4 yards through 3 weeks. And then he has his 88-yard catch, and I'm really hoping that this is the beginning of something. And whether it just be, all right, we're going to run streaks, we're going to run vertical routes to just open things up, just like how Devontae Adams, the coverage that he attracts, the route that he runs opens things up for Puka Nacua. All these routes and all these plays, they work in tandem to free guys up, and the offense should not feel this hard with this much talent. And the truth is, even when this team wins games sometimes, it feels like pulling teeth with this offense scoring 20 points, not blowing out their opponents. And I hope that this is the beginning of a new chapter for Tutu Atwell. I don't want to see him disappear. He's too fast. He's too furious. I'm telling you. I don't want to hear, Tutu ain't well, all this stuff. I mean, the guy has speed you can't teach, and you have to take advantage of that. I mean, we talked about cars on the show. It is like having a Lambo in the garage, and it's collecting dust, and you're not using it. Drive that sucker. Put it on the road. Bend some corners. Hey, take it to a racetrack and do it legally, but hit top speed every now and then. All right? And then you look at the top 5 on defense. Cameron Curl, he continues to emerge. A 93.9 PFF grade. That was the top. Jared Verse right behind him at 93.6. Kobe Turner had his best game of this season. Defensive tackle had an 80.6 PFF grade. Then Poona Ford, a 78.3 PFF grade. Then Jalen McCullough, 77.6. So those were the top on defense. And for that takeaway, I got to look at the run defense. I mean, you held Jonathan Taylor to less than 100 yards rushing. Yes, A.D. Mitchell gave the Rams another gift by that holding penalty that negated a 53-yard run in the fourth quarter that could have won it for them. But still, I mean, at the very least, you're looking at maybe overtime in that game if the Rams find a way to finish the job. But they did a great job against Taylor. They did a really great job against Saquon Barkley. No explosive runs. The longest run for Taylor was 12 yards. So they did a great job. And then you look at Cameron Curl. Cameron Curl really has been just fantastic for this team. Before this game, he hadn't intercepted a pass since 2020, and he got 2 interceptions in this one. He just straight up ripped one, stole one from one of the Daniel Jones big balls there twice, and then he just put an end to that comeback attempt. So you got to give him a lot of credit. He also led the team with 9 tackles. So not only is he making big plays, I mean, it's a 27-20 game. The Rams had just got that big touchdown from Tutu Atwell, and the Colts, they're trying to put together a drive on 1st and 15, and Cameron Curl, he ends any hope. He goes underneath. They get that interception, and they go home with the win. So he's been sensational for the Rams, and I think he's going to continue to be. Jared Verse, I mean, my man's an absolute beast mode type player. I mean, the guy is the next great Rams defender. Didn't get out to the best start of this season, but my man should have been looking for a house or at least a condo in the Colts backfield because he was living there. He also played a huge role in making sure Jonathan Taylor didn't have a big day. And he's a guy that you look at the stat sheet and you're like, oh, wait a minute, only has 2 sacks? Okay, fine. But you also look at the fact that it's the pressures. It's what he does. It's the attention he draws. He's really a physical freak. So that's kind of what you want to see from him. Is just doing the job and making sure that your presence is felt. And then for the bottom 5 on offense, you had Kevin Dotson, 62.5, Tyler Higbee, 59.3, Jordan Whittington, 50.9, Blake Corum, 44.3, Rob Havenstein, 43.1. So wasn't a great day for, we talked about Emmanuel Forbes, but Blake Corum too. I mean, Blake Corum, we talked about a 2-headed monster and being a guy that could steal snaps away from Kyron Williams, but it wasn't a great performance from him. He averages 2.3 yards per carry. You compare that to the 5.9 yards per carry for Kyron Williams. There's no comparison there. Kyron was the better back, but it was the drops. It was the doing the little things. He dropped a couple of passes. He batted one up in the air. And when that happens, it can lead to interception. So that scares me. You don't want to have a guy that can make mistakes. So clearly this is still Kyron Williams' backfield, and it was a step back and just a bad game for Blake Corum. And you got to hope that that's the learning lesson for him, is that you want to turn that around. You want to make sure you're performing better. As far as bottom 5 on defense, we talked about it. The lowest grade went to Emmanuel Forbes, a 34.3 PFF grade. Quinn Lake, from his best game to a bad game, 40.8. This is all based on PFF. You got to take it with a grain of salt, but we're going to kind of stick with it here. Nate Landman, 51.8, and Omar Spades, 47.4. Braden Fisk, a 43. I think, for me, definitely lower graded ones. I think Omar Spades is kind of the one that stands out. Nate Landman, he looked like he's the guy that's going to be the captain type player, a leader. The peanut punch to start the year was great. But Omar Spades, he is starting to look like a weakness. I mean, he really is. And you're just kind of wondering, with his struggles stopping the run in the passing game, do we start to see the undrafted free agent Sean Dolak sooner than later? I mean, it has not been a great start for Omar Spades. Other ones, Devontae, 68.4, Byron Young, 67.6, Kobe Durant, 65.6, and then you had Kyron at 71.6. So all in all, I think the biggest winner was Tutu. He's the winner of the week. It's becoming almost normal to see Puka put up these numbers, but it was a breakout game for Tutu, and I think defensively it was a game where the glaring weakness is on the cornerbacks, but it was great to see Kobe Turner, Jared Verse ball out in the same game, and I'm looking for Byron Young and Quinn Lake to getting back to elite status, hopefully, or getting close to a very good status like we saw the week before. But coming up next, we are going to talk about the 49ers. Is it going to be Bang Bang Niner gaming at SoFi? I think it is. Bang Bang Niner gang. Whose house? Rams' house. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love FanDuel. It's what I use anytime I want to put money on my favorite teams or just want to get involved. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. I build parlays, tried player props, and even follow the live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or you just love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the app. FanDuel.com. Download that FanDuel app today and get started. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what their net worth is, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever even touching a spreadsheet. So I linked all my accounts to Monarch and immediately spotted a few subscriptions I wasn't even using. Canceling all those alone just saved me so much money every month. I'm trying to get a house here in LA. It's not easy. So Monarch helps me save money. And Monarch makes it simple to review my finances with my partner. We can both see budgets, goals, and spending activity all in one place. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNFL. And welcome back to Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Okay, so 49ers week. We know what that means. San Francisco versus LA. You got the Dodgers fans that are Niners fans and the Lakers fans, and you'll see them at SoFi Stadium. Not trying to gatekeep, but when Randy Newman's I Love LA plays, it's got to feel a little weird. But hey, root for your teams. It's all love. What I want to see, though, is I want to see some streaking at SoFi Stadium. And, of course, I mean the Rams getting their first 4-game winning streak since 2001 against the 49ers. The Rams could not beat this team. They had lost 9 of 10 games to the 49ers. The regular season was what it was. They, of course, got the biggest win in the 2021 NFC Championship game. But now you're starting to see them stack wins against Kyle Shanahan. And hopefully this game earlier in the season, one that's a little more meaningful than some of the late season ones they picked up, I think is going to be big. I think absolutely you got to try to get that streak and solidify your spot in the NFC. The Seahawks are better than we thought they were going to be. The Cardinals don't look like they're going to be a threat. And the 49ers just, even though they've dealt injuries, they've had some wins. And they definitely just lost to the Jaguars, so they're trying to come in and right that wrong. And the guy you got to stop is Christian McCaffrey. So here's another big-time running back, elite-ish running back for the Rams to be challenged by. And McCaffrey, he's been carrying the load. And he has the most yards, 225 yards on 69 carries. Also has the most receptions, 31 for anyone on the 49ers. Hasn't been efficient, though. Just 3.3 yards per carry. Stop C-Mac. And that's from D-Mac. No, but stop Christian McCaffrey. Should be in a pretty decent spot. 49ers, too. And knock on wood, they have not got an interception this year. One of just 3 teams in NFL not to pick off a pass. Let's keep that up. The Rams haven't allowed a rushing touchdown to a running back this year. 49ers, they're the only team without a TD on the ground. So something has to give. Even with 69 carries by McCaffrey, has not gotten into the end zone. 49ers, they're a top 3 team in third down offense and defense. So we need to see this Rams team execute in those situations. They have a 48.1% conversion rate on third downs. That's second in the NFL. So that's going to be big. Big test for this defense. And then also they're only allowing their opponent to convert 32% of the time. So let's see the Rams come through. Let's see third and short. Let's see an efficient offense. And let's put the clamps down on third down. And the Rams, too, they have the 13th third down offense and the 8th third down defense. So it's going to be a something's got to give type of moment for the Rams and the 49ers in that one. The 49ers, they do have one of the worst pass rushes in the NFL. They only have 5 sacks on the year. That's the 4th fewest in the National Football League at 12.3% pressure rate. That's the 2nd lowest in the NFL. So I like Stafford having time to throw and hopefully having another great game because he was great against the Colts. I'm looking for another 300-plus passing yard game, but I'm looking for a multiple TD game. I want to see 3 touchdowns for Matthew Stafford in this one, and I've got the Rams beating the 49ers. It's going to be a lot of red, but they're going to be leaving blue. It's going to be bang, bang, escalator gang once again at SoFi Stadium. But that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Rams. My name is Doug McCann. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And until next time, whose house? It's Locked On Rams house.